how I spent my $60K monthly paycheck as a big law attorney and business owner, and how you can too. And if I'm being honest, this is not my first, second, or even third $60K month. I have had multiple $60,000 months, and I'm going to tell you exactly where that money went, how I earned that money, my journey to getting here, and how you can get here as well. No gimmicks, no messing around, none of that stuff. The only catch, you have to stay till the end of the video. Why? Well, it should be obvious, but just in case it's not, you guys have to understand making this kind of money is a journey. It's a process. It's not the overnight, make six figures in a week, make six figures in a month. That is not what it is. It is not a gimmick. It is not a scam. There's a process. It takes time. You have to put in systems and you have to take the right steps to get there. But I'm going to be talking about all of that in this video. But because I don't want to keep you guys waiting, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into my monthly spending breakdown. Very quickly, majority of this money is not from my full-time job as a big law attorney. It is from my business, and we'll get into that as well. Starting off strong, like I always do, with my savings and investments category, because you want to be paying yourself first, and I always make sure I'm paying myself first. So my first category is my savings and my investments category. Here, I put $32,000 towards investments. After I do the breakdown, I'm going to talk a little bit more of where exactly that money went. But for right now, know that I put $32,000 into investments. I put $2,000 towards tithing. Some people would categorize that as expense. I choose not to categorize it as expense. So that's why I put it under savings and investments, because God is one who makes sure my store basket is always full and overflowing. So my total for my savings and investments category is $34,000. Moving on to my second category, this is my expenses category. So for my expenses, we have rent. My rent is $4,000. This includes like literally everything under the sun, because I do live in a luxury high-rise apartment in DC. And so that includes like water, sewer, trash, concierge, all that fun stuff, amenities, whatever. So that's all included there in my rent expenses. Next, I put $2,000 to pay off one of my credit cards. I do pay off my credit cards in full each month. I spent $1,922 on shopping. I think I posted a day in the life video over on TikTok, or what I spend in the day video over on TikTok. And that's, I think, where most of this money came from. This is my February 2025 expenses, if I didn't say that in the beginning. My cleaners are $257. They do come twice a month. Transportation was $333. So that's like Ubers, Lyfts, all that kinds of stuff. My flights were $637. Groceries was $633. Eating out was $329. Guys, that is fantastic for me. Okay, that's fantastic. Because if I'm being honest with you, I don't remember the last time I cooked. And I do like Home Chef. And so Home Chef, the cost is included in my groceries. But I also still eat out a lot because I Uber Eats or like just go out and get food. So $329, Sephora, like give yourself a pat on the back because that's really good. Okay, so utilities, phone bill, and then I did have a TaskRabbit come mount my TV. So that's $322. And then I gave $2,950 to members of my family. So the total there is $13,383 for expenses. And I'm so sorry. These birds are getting on my nerves. I hope they shut up. I hope you can't hear them. So that total was $13,383. Moving on to my third category, this is my business category. I do make sure that I keep my business and personal expenses separate. And so with my business expenses, I have like operating costs, and for that was $6,187. It doesn't actually cost a lot of money to operate my business, and that is by design. That's how I built my business. But no matter what, I put aside a percentage of my business earnings every single month to just put aside for operating expenses, even though I already have more than enough in the operating pool. And that's because like safety, right? Some months may be really, really high. Some months may be like lower, like 30 or 40K or whatever that may be. So regardless, I'm putting that aside. Next is taxes, and I put aside $6,187. I always get a lot of questions about this, and I'll dive more into it later on in this video when I'm explaining like the pieces about where this money is going and the investments along those lines. But just the piece I will say right now is my big law firm or my firm income is post-tax, right? So when that money hits my account, just like any other job, taxes are already taken out. My business is pre-tax, and so I have to put aside taxes on my own for my business. But I am an S Corp, and so I do like take a salary from my business. I also make sure that I have expenses to offset my tax liability, but that's a completely separate video. But if you are a high earner, no matter what, you want to be making sure that you are properly investing in methods to reduce your tax liability so that you aren't paying $50,000 in taxes. Let me tell you, I have a CFO, and when I first met with her, we were looking at like a $60K tax bill. And we got that down legally, of course, but we implement expenses. We implement things to get that bill down, right? Anyway, that's a whole nother video. So that is my monthly spend breakdown. So the total for the month was $59,757. I did have money left over. My actual earnings that month was a little over $60,000. And what I just broke down to you again was $59,757. So now before I get into like the exact where this money is going, like where the investments are going, the tax breakdown and like all that good stuff, I want to talk to you guys and tell you guys a little bit about how I got here, because it's going to give you some insight as to where you are or how you can get here or things you can do. And I'm going to get more explicit even on that part a little bit later in the video, but how I got here, right? So let's rewind. So I am the daughter of immigrants. Both of my parents are Jamaican. They came here when they were in their teens, and they actually met here even though they're both Jamaican. My mom is from Kingston. My dad is from Montego Bay. And so me and my siblings were first generation Americans, and they instilled in us, work hard, go to school, get a good education, go to college, do all these great things, get a good job, They did tell us make investments in yourself, but it was more along the lines of like schooling, and that was great. And I love them. And they taught me everything along those lines. But what I was missing was the piece about that. I think if you are already born into a wealthy family, which I was not, we were not poor by any means, but we weren't like silver spoon. We weren't uber wealthy. And I think like what those families have, or what those families are teaching their kids. And so they kind of had this, they're starting up here, right? When the rest of us are kind of probably starting back here because we don't have anyone to teach us that information from the get-go, is that the actual secret to wealth is about getting ahead and finding the people who can give you the information you need to get ahead. And that's essentially what I didn't realize until 3 years ago, right? Is if you really want to build wealth, if you really want to get to this place of work optionality or financial freedom, you have to find the people who can help you along the way. So now I can like fast forward back a little bit to 2017, 2018. And this is right before I had this knowledge about I needed to find the right people. I needed to pay them. I need to make those kinds of investments. So remember, at this point in time, it's mainly just like invest in school, invest in my education. And do not get me wrong. 1000%. I'm a firm believer of having a great education is the stepping stone for so many things that you can do in your life, right? So I'm not saying don't get a great education. I actually firmly believe that you should, but it's not the only thing you should do. Okay, so I'm applying to law school and I'm realizing big law is what I want to do, federal clerkships, all things I've done, by the way. Did the 2 federal clerkships, did big law, all the things. Actually still am in big law. But I realized I wanted to do these things, and there's an abundance of reasons, and I think it's just going to require a separate video on why I wanted to do those things. But the reason I initially wanted to go to law school was because I wanted to be an educator. I wanted to be someone who could provide this level of information, this knowledge that people in my community, and I'm not just talking about the Black community or even the brown community, I'm talking about first generation. My parents did go to college, but they didn't go to like graduate school, like law school or PhD or like doctor or med school or anything like that. But like still first generation, Black and brown communities, immigrant communities, whatever, people who do not have the knowledge. I wanted to go to law school and be someone who in some way, shape or form could educate, could help others move forward in whatever it is they were going through, right? And I just knew an attorney was the perfect person to do that, because look at how much power attorneys can wield and how much optionality they have in their career choice. Like you can go the traditional route, but you can also go into politics. I don't even have to sit here and explain all the different optionality. I already have a full video about that. But right, so that's why I wanted to go to law school. So then fast forward to 2022, which is when I started topping the curve, my law school coaching business. And I fell in love. Like, I loved coaching. I loved help. Like, literally, that was topping the curve was the reason I went to law school. I was giving back. I was helping my community. I was giving them the knowledge. I mean, my clients go on to the top law schools in the country with full scholarships, lots of them, with half scholarships, lots of them, right? So I was giving them the knowledge that I was missing when I was going through it. And I was doing all of these things, right? But while I was building Topping the Curve, while I was learning Topping the Curve, that is where I learned the secret to wealth, which is what I hinted at just a few minutes ago, which is if you really want to have an impact, if you really want to be able to reach a level of financial freedom, if you really want to make the levels of money where you can make a difference, and here I want to encourage you, whether or not you like him, think about Elon Musk and how much power he can buy because of how much money he has. Right? When you have money, you have power, you have influence. You can donate to the candidates you want. You can donate to the organizations, to the volunteer work, to like literally whatever. There's so much things you can do. You can donate more of your time. All things that you need money to do, you can do, right? And so when I was building my business and I was trying to get to, you know, this level where I can really make more of a significant difference, I was like, I can't make a significant difference if I can't figure out how to scale this business, if I can't figure out how to get to where I want to get to, right? And so that's when like the deep dive started. That's when I was researching millionaires, billionaires, multimillionaires like Oprah Winfrey, Mel Robbins, Tony, is it Mel Robbins? I think so. Tony Robbins, I hope that's right too. I'm sure you guys have heard of these people, Alex Hormozy, Myron Golden, Daniel Presley. Guys, I was doing it, okay? I'm talking about deep dive researching. I'm talking about reading the books, watching the YouTubes, listening to the podcasts, all these different things. And I learned so much, but it wasn't just intrinsic learning or just like doing kind of the research in that level. I was investing in myself. And this is the kind of investment in myself that I was saying that I don't think people like me or people in my community are taught to do, right? We're only taught the formal education piece. We're not taught the piece about investing in ourselves and how we want our future to look like outside of schooling. And this is what I learned from building up my businesses. If I want to build a business that has a massive influence or scale on a massive kind of level, I need to go pay someone who can help me get there. And that's exactly what I did, right? So my first investment for Topping the Curve was a business coaching program. It's $5,000 that I really couldn't afford, but I put it on my credit card. That same year, I made $100,000. Right? And then I went on to scale Topping the Curve to over $400,000 in 2 years' time. And again, that's because I was compounding on compounding and compounding. So if I spent like tens of thousands of dollars, which I have, it has then on the end, my return on my investment has been over $400,000. So, right. So on my journey now to financial freedom, to multiple millions of dollars and being able to affect change or help people on a much more massive scale, I'm likewise going to be spending even more. And I have the coaches, I have the professionals, and I'm finding the right people and all those different kinds of things. So I started all of that really 3 years ago. But if you really, really want to go back, it goes back even before then. Right. And so I think that's like the perfect lead into my investments, because this is where like the coaches and my financial freedom journey and all of that comes into play. So when we're talking about my investments, and I actually just uploaded a video on investing with a high income, and that video will be at the end of this, so you can go watch it after. But essentially, I have this one investments category, and what my investments category is this is essentially like my category or my budget to get me to financial freedom, right? And so there's a couple of different things that I am currently doing and a couple of different things I plan to add in the next few weeks and months. And so if you guys have watched previous videos of mine, you know that something I'm already doing is multiplexes, right? So investing in multi-unit properties, that's 3 doors, 4 doors, and renting those out. And you guys are going to get some super cool updates on that coming very, very soon. You will see it. So that was like kind of like one of the first places that I started. What I've more recently started looking into outside of like just the multiplexes is like apartment buildings and different things along those lines. So different ways to scale in that real estate sector. And I do have like professionals and experts that, again, I'm working with along the way, because you can't get to that next level on your own if you have to have someone giving you that information. And like I said, I realized that 3 years ago when I started my business. And so that's very important to me. But that's part of like where this, when I say that investments category, that's where this money is going. A couple of other things that are coming also down the line, and I'll keep you guys updated on, is just more on like alternative investments. And so there, like, you can think about startup companies and buying and selling businesses, things along those lines. I think those are a little bit further down the line, maybe because I'm like, I just love real estate. At one point I was like, maybe I want to be a real estate attorney, but no, I didn't, and I don't. Right. But so that's what that investments category is, and that's where it is. And moving over to that tax side that a lot of people ask about, I was like, but how are you only paying so much in taxes? Whatever, right? Number one, if you're a high earner or you have a business, you need an accountant, a CPA, a CFO, whatever, because tax strategy is so important. Tax planning is so important. The reason how I am able to keep my tax burden lower is because of my CFO, right? And so when you are putting in expenses that you are able to write off as tax write-offs, then your tax burden comes down. And so these real estate investments, other things that you can be doing that would make this video far too long, are going to allow you to write stuff off, and that brings your tax burden down. Okay. And so like for me, I actually meet with my CFO every single month. Some people meet with them quarterly, whatever, but that's one of the professionals. Like, even if you don't have a business, you need just as a high earner, period, so that you're not giving all of your money away to the government, to the IRS. Right. And so essentially what all of this will allow me to do, all of these investments and investing in myself and my future, is allow me to be work optional, or allow me to get to financial freedom. That's to work when, where, and how often I want. But it will also allow me to give to the charities I want to give to. It will also allow me to have more influence in the political realm, or literally whatever realm it is I want to. It'll allow me to host events and do all kinds of things and have tons of people come in. It'll allow me to have the marketing budget or the marketing spend to do whatever it is I need to do. It'll also allow me to build generational wealth for me and all of my descendants that come after me, right? Because I don't believe in working 50, 60 plus hours all the way up until you're 60 and then retiring when you're 60, 65 years old, and you can't really enjoy it as much as you could have when you were in your 30s or even 40s and even 50 years old, right? And so putting in the work on this front end to get to your goals on the back end. And the big piece about this, if you guys are similarly or wanting to aim towards financial freedom, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to do something that can help other people and be genuine about it, right? And you have to take the time to think about, what is it that I am good at that I can help other people do? How can I give so much value to other people to make their lives better? Because guess what? If you are helping someone else, if you are making someone else's life better, you deserve to live a good life. You deserve to be compensated for that. You deserve to have a great life. I mean, guys, all these professionals that I hire and coaches and experts who have helped me get to where I am and will help me get to where I'm going, like literally, like take all of my money, take all of my money, because you are helping me in ways that I could never or could not have done on my own, and definitely not as quickly. And so when you're wanting to go on this journey, that's the very first thing you want to start thinking about is, how can I help someone else? What can I offer to make someone else's life better? What is going to be valuable to them that I have and am capable of giving to them? So that's your very first step, right? Is start thinking about, what do I have or what can I offer that can help other people? And it doesn't have to be extravagant. It really doesn't have to be super, super extravagant. You can walk someone's dog. You can build someone a website. You can provide information within your zone of expertise. Like if you're a doctor, if you're a therapist, obviously within like not violating any rules or anything along those lines. But there's probably a lot more that you could do that you may have been overlooking. Outside of those like avenues that I would encourage you to think about, which is like service-based avenues, you can also think about, especially if you have a high income, think about a product, right? Or just think about getting into real estate investments like I was talking about earlier, or think about getting into stock market investments. And you can think about alternative investments. It doesn't have to just be the S&P 500 or VOO or QQQ or different things along those lines. And again, my breakdown on that is in that investment video that I talked about that will be at the end of this one. But that's also what you can think about, alternative investments. So REITs, That's real estate investment trust. You can think about crypto, right? There's so many different ways that you can get to this level of income or this level of passive income, right? Especially, I know there's a lot of people who do Airbnbs, right? And so finding the right coaches and finding the right people who can actually get you there. And so let me further break this down into 2 buckets for you. Over here, you have your service-based bucket, which is going to be probably less expense on the front end. So if you don't have that much money to start off with, you're going to want to start off over here. What is a service that I have or I can learn and then I can offer to other people? Dog walking, website building, video editing. Like, I don't edit or like do anything to my own videos after I record it. It goes off to the editor and I don't see it again until it's posted, right? So there's just so much, right? Pick your service here. I have lots of videos about building up a business from scratch, making $100,000 from scratch. So you can click on my wealth and finance playlist to watch all of those videos. Over here is going to be like, you already have some capital. You already have some money to start off with. You can get into real estate investing. You can get into alternative investments. You can do startups. You can invest in startups. You can buy and sell businesses. You can start a product line or enhance an already existing product, right? So all of these things over here, like even either of these buckets, it's what's going to get you that extra income. If you're over here in this service base, not starting with a lot of capital, once you have that extra income, you move that extra income into this bucket over here. And this bucket over here is what starts generating you that passive income. This bucket over here is what allows that money to work for you. And that is how you get to financial freedom. That is how you get to a place where your money can work for you. And so now I want to encourage you guys, if you're a high earning woman or you're a professional woman working over 50 plus hours per week and you want to start your journey to financial freedom, you want to start making your money work for you, but you're not exactly sure where to start. Or maybe you're a little bit further along your journey, but you want to be in a community of women and you want to start making the right choices, making the right decisions, hiring the right people. You want to start making those investments in yourself because maybe you're like me or any of these categories in these videos. Then I encourage you to sign up for my upcoming workshop, How to Get Started on Your Financial Freedom Journey. I'm going to be talking to you guys much more in depth about everything I covered in this video, as well as finding and hiring the right coaches, experts, and professionals. And that's who you need, where to find them, how to set up consultations, and all of those things along those lines. We're going to also be talking about the immediate steps that you need to be taking based on where you are. We're going to be talking about creating and getting to your financial freedom number. We're going to build your financial freedom plan. We're going to be doing so much in this upcoming workshop that I have. So if you're interested in signing up for that workshop, the link will be in the description box, or you can get details on that workshop by going to www.prosperouswomancollective.com. I hope to see you in this workshop so that we can all work together to financial freedom and get to that place of work optionality. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to leave me a comment and subscribe, and go ahead and share this video with a friend, with another high earning woman, or whoever it may be who you think is interested in making their money work for them or getting to work optionality. And I hope all of you guys sign up for that workshop. This workshop will also have affiliates. So if someone tells us your code, which is your name with the numbers 25 at the end, then you will get $50 credited towards you for their signing up for the workshop. I hope to see many of you guys in the workshop, and don't forget to watch our next video, and I will see you guys on my next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.